Hey fellow travelers, I am Alp Galip. Join us to explore how to travel in Porto in 24 hours, where I'll take you on a journey through the most beautiful corners of Porto, Portugal. In this one day in Porto travel guide, I'll show you everything you need to know before visiting Portugal, best places to visit in Porto, what to eat, how to get around, hidden gems, and all you need to know about 24 hours in Porto. By the end of this Porto itinerary video, you'll find the most important information about things to do in Porto, and I'll be waiting for your likes and specific questions as a comment. The night before our Porto journey, we arrived at Francisco Sá Carneiro Airport on a direct flight from Barcelona. From the airport, we picked up our rental car for 5 days, which we booked through booking.com for €312 plus a €150 drop-off fee in Lisbon Airport. After a 20-minute drive, we checked into our luxury hotel, Pestana Palácio do Freixo, located in the Freixo district by the Douro River, where we paid €650 for 2 nights. That evening, after a delightful dinner at the hotel, we decided to call it an early night since our 3 days in Barcelona had been exhausting and we had a full schedule planned for the following day. The next morning, after an exceptional breakfast at the hotel, we left our car at the property due to parking challenges in the city and instead took an Uber for about €5 or €6 to the city centre. Our Porto tour began on one of the oldest and most famous streets, Rua dos Mercadores, also known as Merchant Street, and from there we walked towards the waterfront. We soon reached the riverside area where Ribeira Wharf and Ribeira Square are located. This picturesque square is lined with colourful buildings and filled with cafes and restaurants. Here we also admired 2 charming fountains, the Ribeira Fountain and the Cube Fountain. If you're willing to pay around €250 per night, you can also stay right in the heart of Porto at the Pestana Vintage Porto Hotel, which is located here. From the Ribeira waterfront, you can enjoy direct views of both the Luís I Bridge and the Gaia riverside. If you'd like to join an hourly boat cruise, with prices starting around €20, you can conveniently buy tickets here. As we strolled along the waterfront, a street photographer snapped a candid photo of us and printed it onto a newspaper-style page, which we happily purchased as a souvenir. We then passed by the small but charming chapel of Our Lady of O before heading into Porto's narrow streets filled with colourful buildings. After a short walk, we found ourselves on Infante do Henrique Street, where the red nostalgic tram and cycling tourists added life to the scene. Here we visited the imposing St. Francis Church, an impressive landmark that dominates the area with its striking presence and rich historical character. Directly across from it stood the parish church of St. Nicholas, distinguished by its beautiful azulejo-covered facade, which shone in the sunlight and added a unique touch of colour and artistry to the square. A bit further up, we reached the inviting green setting of Prince Henry Square, a charming place that welcomed us with its calm atmosphere. At the centre stood the grand monument of Prince Henry himself, proudly rising above the square as a powerful reminder of Porto's rich maritime history. Beside it, the massive Bolsa Palace immediately caught our attention with its striking presence, standing as a grand reminder of the city's historic wealth and cultural importance. The Bolsa Palace is used today as Porto's stock exchange palace and also as a cultural and event space that showcases the city's rich history. Right behind the square, we stepped inside the Ferreira Borges market out of curiosity, eager to see what this historic space had to offer. Inside, we browsed through stalls featuring jewelry, accessories, and clothing made by local artists, each piece reflecting the creativity and character of Portugal. We continued climbing through narrow stairways into the upper parts of the city, where each step revealed more hidden corners and scenic views. Soon we stopped at Miradouro de Vitória, also known as the Victory Viewpoint, where we paused to enjoy one of Porto's best panoramic views. Walking further uphill, we encountered the Angel Fountain gracefully standing in front of the old Porto Court House, adding both charm and history to the square. Not far ahead, in Clerigos Square, we visited one of the city's century-old shops famous for selling traditional sardines. The Clerigos Church and its tall Clerigos Tower are 2 of the city's most iconic landmarks, with the church showcasing Baroque beauty and the tower offering sweeping views over Porto. In this area, you'll also find tuk-tuks, which make sightseeing easier, and later on we too rented one for an hour. After a short stroll past some charming local shops, we finally arrived at Livraria Lelu, Porto's most famous and breathtaking bookstore, admired worldwide for its stunning architecture and magical atmosphere. Since we hadn't purchased tickets in advance and the queue was extremely long, we decided not to lose time and skipped going inside. Next, we reached Gomes Teixeira Square, one of the liveliest and most vibrant parts of Porto, where the constant flow of people, students, and travelers gives the area an energetic charm. Here we relaxed by the Fountain of Lions and absorbed the vibrant energy of the square, surrounded by lively conversations, street performers, and the constant buzz of city life. Once the line at the Porto sign grew shorter, we took our turn to capture a souvenir photo, creating a memorable snapshot to mark our incredible day in the heart of the city. We then walked towards one of Porto's most fascinating architectural gems, which houses two churches under one roof. The Carmo Church and the Carmelitas Church share the same building, with azulejo tiles beautifully decorating the side walls. In this same square, we could also see the historic University of Porto. A short walk later, we arrived at one of the city's busiest streets, Rua dos Clerigos. Here we saw everything from the official store of Portugal's national football team to traditional sardine shops, all reflecting the country's culture. Continuing onward, we reached Liberdade Square, Porto's central hub filled with significant landmarks. The first one to greet us was the Grand Dom Pedro monument. Next came the elegant and stylish Bank of Portugal building, which delighted us with its architecture. Along our walk, the Fountain of Youth Naked Girl revealed the city's artistic spirit. Aliados Avenue, with its wide walking lanes, made our stroll through Porto enjoyable. At the very top, Porto City Hall stood tall and magnificent, embodying the city's pride with its striking architecture and commanding presence over Aliados Avenue. We rested briefly under the trees in General Humberto Delgado Square located right in front. From here, a 5-minute walk brought us to Mercado do Bulhão, Porto's open market. This market offered everything from fresh produce to local goods, souvenirs, and even liquor. As we took the escalators up from the metro station here, the city's most important church came into sight. The Chapel of Souls dazzled us with its striking blue azulejo facade, beautifully covered in intricate religious scenes that seemed to bring the city's spiritual history to life. We then headed down Santa Catarina Street, the city's busiest and most bustling shopping street, lined with boutiques, cafes, and the lively rhythm of everyday Porto life. After a short wait, we managed to get a table at the iconic Majestic Cafe, rewarding ourselves with a pleasant lunch. Following the meal, we browsed some nearby souvenir shops, exploring shelves filled with traditional crafts, azulejo tiles, and small keepsakes that perfectly captured the spirit of Porto. Throughout the city we often spotted the red hop-on hop-off buses, an efficient way for tourists to explore Porto. Just a bit further down, we visited the Church of St. Ildefonso, one of Porto's most beautiful churches. A little tired and hot, we negotiated with a tuk-tuk driver right in front of the church for a quick tour. For €90 total, 3 of us enjoyed a 1.5-hour tuk-tuk ride to cover places we had missed. Our first stop was the historically important Santo Antonio University Hospital Center, a landmark building that reflects both the city's medical heritage and its distinctive neoclassical architecture. Then we paused briefly for a short stroll along the flower-filled Street of Flowers, enjoying its colorful displays, charming atmosphere, and the delicate fragrance drifting through the air. Next, we explored the interior of São Bento railway station, a must-see for its grand azulejo-covered halls that illustrate Portugal's history in breathtaking detail and artistic beauty. Despite roadworks making it tricky, we also managed to see the Church of St. Anthony of the Congregations across the way. Our driver then dropped us at Porto Cathedral so we could visit properly. The Porto Cathedral stood proudly, offering both historical richness and breathtaking views, with its imposing presence overlooking the Old Town and the Douro River below. Right beside it stood the Episcopal Palace of Porto, another building of great significance. From here we caught partial glimpses of St. Lawrence Church's bell towers rising above Porto's tiled rooftops. Riding on again, we passed by Capela do Postigo do Sol and crossed the Ponte de Infanchi bridge into the Gaia side of the city. Our first stop there was the Ponte de São João, a graceful bridge with lovely Douro River views. Driving along a narrow riverside road, we also admired the Maria Pia Bridge, the first bridge built by Gustave Eiffel in Porto. We then had the chance to spot Passeio das Fontoinhas, a popular viewpoint area, from across the river. At the end of this riverside ride, we stopped right at the foot of Porto's most iconic bridge, the Luís I Bridge. Here we not only witnessed magical river views framed by the bridge but also walked across it for the experience. We watched cruise boats, kayakers, and the scenery of the Douro River's banks creating unforgettable moments. As we continued the ride, we also noticed the cable cars moving steadily above the Gaia riverfront. Heading toward the city's most famous viewpoint, we passed rows of colorful Gaia houses and cyclists making their way uphill. Our next stop was the monastery of Serra do Pilar, dramatically perched with panoramic views. Right after, we stood amazed at Serra do Pilar viewpoint, where Porto's classic skyline unfolded before us. From here, we could clearly see the Jardim do Mouro cable car station below. And from the bridge we kept spotting trains crossing constantly, creating a lively scene. After this spectacular experience, we said goodbye to our kind tuk-tuk driver and started walking along Diogo Leite Avenue. The avenue was crowded with people and lined with bars, restaurants, and cafes. Soon we came across the small chapel of Our Lady of Mercy, a modest yet charming sanctuary that added a touch of quiet history to the bustling riverside walk. Right nearby stood Sundema, one of the city's historic wine producers, instantly recognizable by its iconic logo and long tradition of shaping Porto's world-famous port wine culture. Along this street we also found traditional sardine shops and local specialty stores. Food stalls, drink vendors, and souvenir stands further added to the cultural richness of the area. The gondola-style boats anchored along the river added an authentic touch to the atmosphere. At the end of the road, the Cais de Gaia cable car station awaited visitors wishing to ride up to the viewpoint. Just behind, the Beira Rio market offered regional flavors and wine tasting opportunities. We then returned to our hotel to rest and prepare for dinner. After some pool time and relaxation with river views, we headed back to Gaia for dinner. At the spot where our Uber dropped us, we saw the parish church of Santa Maria and admired nearby street art. As night fell, the whole area lit up beautifully, and the crowd showed no sign of thinning. Shops displayed their goods outside, while restaurants eagerly welcomed their dinner guests. With so many options ranging from pizza to local cuisine, we went for Tempero de Maria, which had caught our eye earlier in the day, and waited briefly for a table. Here we enjoyed a true Portuguese dining experience, sampling everything from mushroom and eggplant starters to steaks and seafood mains. The bill came to nearly €100 for the three of us, and I can definitely recommend this restaurant to others. After dinner, we strolled a bit more through the lively streets. Finally, we ended our day with a pleasant walk along the riverside, soaking in Porto's magical night views. This was my one day in Porto travel vlog with everything you need to know before visiting, from iconic landmarks and scenic viewpoints to food experiences and local tips. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, and make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more travel guides like this one. And if you need more information, feel free to ask me as a comment, I'll be happy to answer.